This mutation is called Double Trouble, and we have two mutators active, which are indeed going to be causing a lot of trouble. We have Killbots, and we have Propagators. Now, I do think this mutation is somewhat inappropriately named. I think it is a missed opportunity, so to speak. I think a better name for this mutator would be to feed or not to feed, because that is what this mutator is about. So killbots are indestructible, and you have to feed them, and propagators are not indestructible, and you should not feed them. So it does kind of stretch the playstyles of various commanders, because you require two completely different methods to deal with these mutators. So, for the killbots, you need to have cheap disposable units that can easily be taken care of. And for the propagators, you need to have, high damage units that do not go down and that can also attack from range, so you do not end up dealing damage. Over here, you have your share of rock slapping champions, since there was no episode of rock slapping champions. There's a little bit of rock slapping for Dehaka over there, and he is now just standing up at this ramp over here. Over here, Zagara is slowly taking up, has already built the spawning pool, and Baneling Nest is already down and on the way. We have a bunch of Zerglings here that will be used to clear the expansions. Dehaka is actually now starting to farm. No, chasing after the thing. I don't know what this thing's called. No, there he goes. So Dehaka's ready. Ends up eating the Void Ray. Dehaka should be poking around this side first. There's a small enemy camp here, so that'll actually get him a little bit more essence without dealing with these really nasty units over here. But at least he's trying to farm. That's good. But yeah, the Immortal does a lot of damage over here. Zagara has started to work away on these expansion rocks, and now we have the first attack wave that'll be coming out. The Propagator will not be far behind this. I think the first Propagator spawns at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Check out Starcraft.com's mutator page. There is a lot of information on the spawn timings here. But needless to say, there will be a lot of nasty stuff coming up. But Zagara's Banelings are already able to handle this side. And yeah, there we go. That's the 33 minute 30 second mark. Propagator, and yeah, there we go. These cells also get cleaned up. Now we also have a killbot that is coming up here. It's called a murder bot because there's only 5 kills. The killbots, I believe, are 15 killbots, and the number of kills that each killbot needs before it dies does go up as the mission progresses. So it starts off with 5, and then you get 10 spawns, and then you get the 15 spawn killbots. So Zagara's Lings are here, and that killbot will end up going down. And now we can see how Zagara is able to deal with this Propagator. Unfortunately, the Propagator does end up surviving. Let's have a look at the masteries here. Is there Baneling damage? Okay, yeah, so Zagara does have a Baneling damage mastery, which is really important when you want to try and deal with this, because you need to be able to one-shot Propagators. You can see there's a large number of Banelings that are required to deal with this. Surprisingly, though, Zagara is actually one of the better commanders when it comes to dealing with Propagators, which is kind of useful. We can see that Dehaka here is not very experienced at dealing with this. He was asking whether the Propagators can one-shot the heroic units, and the answer is yes. The Propagators one-shot everything: structures, heroic units, and even the rocks on Temple of the Past. So if you're playing Temple of the Past with Propagators, what you usually end up having to deal with is actually 2 Propagators at the start of the game, because the Propagator will look at the rocks, it'll eat the rocks, and make that into a Propagator as well. One of the most annoying mutators that is out there to deal with. The Bullies commanders are Ray, and they have handled this attack wave, and now there is another killbot on this side that is making its way towards Zagara's base. The attack wave is going to be a Skytoss carrier, which is okay. But yeah, there we go. The skill bot is going to be kind of annoying here. And now there's also a Propagator here. The Banelings do get split up, and here, and there we go. Able to handle the Propagator relatively easily. You do need a lot of Banelings, which means that Zagara needs a very strong economy to be able to sustain the amount of Banelings that she's going to be throwing at the Propagators, but she's not actually too bad. Now again, we have another Killbot Propagator wave coming up. One of the things also that makes this Mutator kind of annoying to deal with is you'll have the Killbot and the Propagator pathing through the same way. and obviously that is kind of difficult because you want to feed the killbot, but you do not want to feed the propagator, and you want to kill the propagator, and you do not want to, you know, kill the killbot with your, you don't want to slam your banelings into the killbot. So it does get a little bit tricky. These two, luckily, they did end up splitting, so these Zerglings are there, just gonna eat up the damage, and down goes that killbot. And now the first wave, shuttle wave, has spawned. Zagara is doing okay, getting her upgrades, just slowly taking up. Zagara needs a little bit of time to take up, but once she has that, once she has a really strong economy, it's basically GG. Now that is as far as this mission is concerned, but when it comes to these mutators, especially with propagators, one misplay, if Zagara were to throw her Zerglings into a propagator, it would pretty much be the end of the game. Propagators have a they have a knack for causing you to lose the mission significantly quicker and completely unexpectedly, so you have to really be paying attention here. So we can see that Dehaka over here has made some he has a Ravasaur, and then he has a bunch of Hydralisks and Lynx. He is a level 65 Dehaka, so potentially inexperienced with dealing with these mutators, but we can see that Zagara seems to have this down, basically locked down. Again, Dehaka again is not really effective when it comes to this. He can use his Zerglings, but he has to put them on hold position, otherwise they run away from the killbot. So he needs to actually, yeah, see? So these Lynx are not on hold position, so they just end up running away from the killbot. You need to put them on hold position if you want to hold, if you want to make sure they do not run away. The other thing you can do is just put a bunch of Lynx that are burrowed in front of your base. If you prefer to use the F2 key, you can borrow a bunch of Lynx near your expansion. The only one thing you have to be careful about is if there is a propagator that walks along here and manages to get past your army, you will end up losing the game. So the other thing to note is propagators will try and aggro the nearest unit that they can actually kill. So if you have an army nearby, it's probably never going to happen. But the same thing also applies to the killbots. So it does require a lot of map awareness and a little bit of control as well. There's no really avoiding that. If you were to borrow a bunch of stuff there, there's a problem here. Now we have a bunch of worms that are used as static defense, but nothing's going on over there. There is another killbot on this side, and that killbot will end up getting cleaned up by these Lings that will end up dying to that. But yeah, we have a greater primal worm that also gets dropped in to try and deal with these air units over here. And now we have 2 killbots and a propagator that is coming up from the enemy base. Now one thing you can do is these units spawn from enemy structures. So what you can do is, first off, you cannot actually all clear the mission because the warp conduits and the launch bays are, actually warp conduits are not, but the launch bays are considered enemy structures. And obviously, since you cannot destroy the launch base, it means that killbots and propagators will spawn throughout the course of this mission. There's no really avoiding that. So that's out of the question. So the next best thing you can do is actually clear the bonus objective areas, which is over here, and over there. And if you were to clear all the structures there, then what you end up having is basically 2 choke points. So this area over here and this area over here, which also corresponds to the enemy attack wave spawn points. So those 2 choke points end up being free, and then you can actually catch the propagators and killbots before they get anywhere near your base. So that is one thing you can do over here. So we can see here that Zagara has pulled back those valuable banelings and is putting her more cheaper and less valuable Zerglings on the side. Again, hold position here, making sure they do not run away. And that killbot will go down, and this killbot will also go down. As you can see, the amount of damage now, they're actually starting to one-shot the Zerglings, which is actually really good for Zagara. It means that you do not have to end up spending a lot of time dealing with these killbots and just focus on the game there. So we have 3 hatcheries now for Zagara as well on the middle of the map here. These 3 hatcheries will provide Zagara with the production that she needs. And generally Zagara can go up to about 6 hatcheries, 6 production structures to be able to sustain an end-game economy, which she has right now. So again, she just has to be a little bit careful. Wants to push in here, but now there are a bunch of killbots that are coming up here, and Zagara kind of wants to deal with that. And now we have another 2 propagators spawning over here. So again, Dehaka's Zerglings, they're kind of tanky. You can see over here, they do not actually get one-shot by these killbots. The other thing is, Dehaka is not actually putting them on hold position, so they end up running away from the killbot anyway. which is somewhat problematic. Banelings are getting ready to intercept the Propagator. Propagator getting a little bit close, but again, a click onto that Propagator, and the Propagator ends up dying instantly. So you can see over here, Zagara wants to push back and into this base, but it changed his mind against this. So Dehaka has now gotten a flock of Mutalisks here, so those shuttles will end up going down, and Zagara is on this side handling this attack wave. Now we have 3 killbots and 2 Propagators spawning, and now Dehaka has to be really careful. He's getting really close to this Propagator that is coming up. It's right behind this killbot, and yeah, there you go. So you have to be really careful. There is an A-click here onto the Propagator, and Zagara basically snipes that Propagator instantly. There's another one now coming up, and now there is a killbot. I think that killbot is stuck actually. I think it must have spawned behind some of the enemy structures, and then it's just like, it's so fat that it can't actually get out. That's kind of funny. There are another bunch of killbots that have spawned right now. There's a storm that goes down on these Mutalisks, and now there are 2 killbots that are actually in this enemy base. Yeah, I think that killbot is stuck. We have another deathbot now that's coming up here. Zagara is ready to be able to deal with these killbots. As you can see here, there are 10 kills on this killbot. Later on, it's going to go up to 10 kills. I think it's called a murder bot right now, but eventually it's going to be called a killbot, and that one has, I think, 15 kills. So you do need to have a lot of units to be able to throw at these things. Again, not really fun unit. I do not like units which you cannot actually take out. That's just the way co-op is. We have 2 Propagators coming out now on this side, and these Propagators are small. They'll be able to sneak through the enemy structures. And we have another bunch of killbots coming up, and we have an attack wave as well. This is going to be really fun. So we'll see what the plan is here. Zagara has to be really careful with how she takes this engage. She needs to snipe these Propagators first. She moves her Banelings out in front, takes out the first Propagator, takes out the second Propagator. Dehaka is on this side, drops more of our down to try and deal with this Hybrid Dominator and the rest of these air units over here. Zagara's army comes flooding in here, instantly clearing out this side. She does have a bunch of Scourge. Scourge do end up taking out the these shuttles with the help of the Mutalisks, and now we have a bunch of other units on this side that are getting harassed because of that killbot here. We need to be able to deal with that. That killbot does end up going down, and now there are a bunch of units on this side that need to be handled, and Hyperlisks. The Hunter Killers come out for Zagara, and clearing out these Tunafish hybrids, and the killbot does end up killing itself as well to the Zerglings, and now we have 2 more Deathbots on this side that is making its way towards Zagara's expansion. And was there a Propagator over there? I think there was a Propagator that ended up getting sniped by these air banelings, which is very fortunate for Dehaka. We have a small bluff here. As you can see, these Zerglings are in hold position, so they do end up clearing. Dehaka is pushing here, which is okay. Okay, there's a nice pull back there. Dehaka does notice that there's a Propagator, and he does end up pulling back. That's very nice. He's like, Dehaka's actually paying attention here. Those Locusts would have fed the Propagator, and it would have been really nasty. So again, a bunch of Propagators here do end up getting cleaned out. No Propagators on this side, I don't believe. A few more Banelings do end up going down. I think more or less there's just the Killbot on this side. And there's one Propagator that's coming up here now. That's there it is. So Zagara does engage that, cleans up that Propagator, and now basically there are just 2 Killbots that need to be handled because that other guy is also wedged in between the enemy bases, which is kind of funny. But there we go. And there is a very nasty attack wave coming up here. Lots of Hybrid Dominators, and these Hybrid Dominators really like to storm you, and as you can see over there, it's problematic. But Zagara's Scourge does end up taking out a lot of that air composition there. A lot of the Void Rays end up going down. Less of the shuttles get cleaned up by Dehaka's Mutalisks, and now there's another Propagator on this side, which ends up getting cleaned up. And there is a Killbot on here, but Zagara is completely on top. Oh, nope. Zagara do decide to change position again. And yeah, but Dehaka is choosing to engage the Killbot with his Mutalisks, which is kind of funny, but there we go. That probably ends up going down, and Dehaka decides, you know what, I think my Mutalisks are a little bit too valuable. I want to just stay away there, and Zagara is going to send a bunch of Lings, I think, to the Killbot. There we go. These Lings are now in hold position. Another bunch of Lings here that'll handle the Killbot over here, and yeah. That seems more or less okay. The next step is being able to deal with these 3 Propagators that are coming up on this. So why is that Propagator not moving? I thought the Propagator was actually small enough to be able to sneak past enemy buildings. Apparently no.
Our allies are
This is actually kind of funny that like these 2 Killbots and 1 Propagator are actually stuck. So another Propagator over here that is that ends up getting cleaned up by the Banelings. Unfortunately not enough Banelings. Very little bit of HP left. There we go. That Propagator gets handled. Now we have a Killbot over here. There, as you can see here, this one is actually a Killbot. 15 kills on this thing. And now there are 2 Propagators and I think a Killbot on this side. So this Killbot is going to be working away. Here Zagara is not interested in dealing with this Killbot. He just wants to clear out this these Propagators here. There's another big attack wave here. I think Zagara is probably going to end up getting wrecked here. He's going to get focus fired down by the Oracles. Zagara does end up getting wrecked. Drops a Roach Drop here, but unfortunately there is a lot of nasty air units on this side. Hybrid Dominator casts a Storm on a lot of these Banelings. A lot of the Banelings end up going down, and now there is a Propagator that is working its way towards this base here. But Zagara does end up cleaning up that Propagator. That is probably the scariest here. The Killbot is kind of annoying, not really a big deal. And now Zagara does move her army in, ends up clearing out the air component of this attack wave. That side has ended up going down, and yeah, there we go. That is the shuttle wave on the right-hand side, or on the left-hand side, and lots of Propagators have now started spawning, and now this will be, I believe, the last shuttle wave. So tons of Propagators spawning right now. It's just really nasty, and Dehaka is just not able to deal with this. He should just pull his drones here. If you're getting harassed by a Deathbot, just pull a bunch of drones there. He has noticed that the Propagator is also over there, which is also like really terrifying. But Zagara does end up helping her ally out, engaging that Propagator. It takes out the Propagator, leaves the rest of the Banelings to get eaten up by the Killbot, and now there are another bunch of Killbots here. Zagara is not interested, just takes out these Propagators. Propagators have been cleaned up, and now there's a random Colossus that has come up. I think this was part of the escort, but there we go. There's another Deathbot here that's going to be harassing Dehaka's base here. And now Zagara is making a ton of Banelings because she needs to be able to not only deal with the attack wave, but she has to deal with the Propagators and the Killbots and the shuttles, which is, you know, part of the main objective here. Tons of storms do end up going down. Does end up taking out a large component of the ground forces, but there's still a large number of units over here. Hybrid Dominator does cast another storm, does take out some of the Banelings, and now there are a lot of junk here. Zagara is going to need a lot of Scourge here to take out these enemy units here. So there's a lot of stuff here. Shuttle wave does end up going down. This is where like the big fight is. So I'm gonna try and focus on this side. But yeah, just look at the number of Void Rays. Dehaka is slapping these Oracles. Dehaka can jump in here and eat one of these Oracles and just wipe that entire attack wave, which is somewhat highly unfortunate over here. But anyway, there is another shuttle wave that's coming up here, and that ends up getting focus fired down. A ton of Propagators here eating up, I think, a large number of Dehaka's army. A large number of these mules do end up getting eaten. There is 2 shuttles left there, so I think this mission is still going to be a win. But not after there's a lot of chaos on this side. Oh, actually, Dehaka might get it. Yeah, he does end up sniping out these shuttles. That is, I think, the last set of shuttles. And yeah, there we go. The Propagators were causing a lot of havoc, but all the shuttles have gone down, and that is GG.